The silent vanguard. The quantum sensors aboard the TSS Avalon registered the incoming threat 3 days before Earth's conventional detection systems would have noticed anything amiss. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's observation deck, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing thousands of alien vessels emerging from deep space, their angular shapes resembling obsidian shards against the starlit void. Analysis confirms previous intelligence, Captain Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez reported, her fingers dancing across the neural interface. The Nexus Collective. Their harvester fleets matched the patterns we observed in the Arcturus sector. Sarah's jaw tightened. The collective had already stripped 12 civilizations of their resources in the past century, leaving behind nothing but hollow worlds and shattered societies. Now they had set their sights on Earth, likely assuming they'd find another primitive species ripe for exploitation. They couldn't have been more wrong. "Status of our phase cloak?" Sarah asked, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. The Avalon represented humanity's greatest technological achievement, a quantum-powered warship capable of bending reality itself, hidden from the galaxy for the past 30 years. Phase cloak operating at optimal efficiency. Chief Engineer James Chen, her brother, responded through the comm. "They have no idea we're here, sis." The bridge crew maintained their professional composure, but Sarah caught the slight smiles at James's informal address. It was one of the many ways humanity differed from the rigid hierarchies of the Nexus Collective. They never lost their ability to remain human, even in the face of extraordinary circumstances. Multiple quantum signatures detected from the collective fleet, Maya announced. They're deploying their harvester arrays, standard procedure based on archived footage. They'll begin by stripping the outer planets to fuel their main assault. Sarah nodded grimly. "Just as we predicted. Initiate Operation Ghostwalker. Let's show them why it's unwise to underestimate humanity." The Avalon's quantum core hummed to life. Its revolutionary technology, developed in secret beneath the mountains of Mars, allowing the ship to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. To the collective sensors, there would be nothing but empty space. Even their most advanced detection systems couldn't track something that technically existed in several realities at once. Multiple harvester vessels approaching Jupiter's orbit, Tactical Officer David Kumar reported. "Their shields are down. They're not expecting any resistance." "Deploy quantum mines," Sarah ordered. Pattern Delta. The Avalon released dozens of cloaked weapons, each one containing a miniature quantum core. As the first wave of harvester ships began their resource extraction sequence, Sarah gave the command they'd all been waiting for. "Collapse the quantum field." Reality snapped back into focus as the mines detonated, creating localized areas where quantum probability collapsed into a single devastating outcome. 7 harvester ships disappeared in silent explosions, their quantum-based shields useless against weapons that attacked the fabric of space-time itself. The collective fleet erupted into chaos. Their formations scattered as commanders tried to make sense of the impossible, the sudden destruction of their advanced ships by an unseen enemy. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The element of surprise had always been humanity's greatest advantage. "We're being scanned by multiple collective vessels," Maya reported. "They're using their entire sensor spectrum. Subspace, quantum, tachyon." "Let them look," Sarah replied. Tactical, prepare the phase cannon. Target their command ship. It's time they learned exactly what they're dealing with. The Avalon's main weapon was an engineering marvel that even most of Earth's population didn't know existed. It fired a beam of concentrated quantum probability, temporarily shifting its target into a parallel reality where the laws of physics were fundamentally different. The effect lasted only microseconds, but that was more than enough. "Phase cannon charge," Kumar announced. "Target locked. Fire." For a brief moment, the collective's command ship existed in a universe where the strong nuclear force was slightly weaker. The result was catastrophic. The vessel's atomic bonds briefly weakened, causing cascading structural failures throughout its hull. By the time it shifted back to normal space, the mighty warship had been reduced to a drifting wreck. Multiple signatures detected. Maya called out. They're preparing an FTL jump. The fleet is retreating. The bridge crew cheered, but Sarah raised her hand for silence. This was only the beginning. The collective wouldn't take this defeat lightly. They would return with their full might once they realized Earth possessed technology that could challenge their dominion. Send the message, she ordered. All channels, all frequencies. The words they'd prepared appeared on screens throughout the collective fleet. To the Nexus Collective, your harvesting days are over. Earth is not your prey. We are your reckoning. Every civilization you've stripped, every species you've exploited, will be avenged. This is your only warning. As the alien fleet disappeared into FTL, Sarah turned to her crew. Send word to command. Tell them Phase 1 is complete. Begin deploying our defense grid throughout the solar system. The real battle is yet to come. The Avalon's quantum core pulsed steadily as they set course for Earth. Humanity had hidden in the shadows for decades, developing technologies that defied conventional understanding, preparing for this very moment. The galaxy was about to learn that humans weren't just another species to be harvested. They were the force that would reshape the cosmic order itself. James, Sarah called through the comm. How long until the quantum core is ready for another engagement? 10 minutes, sis, he replied. These babies were built to last. The collective won't know what hit them when they come back. Sarah nodded, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing Earth's solar system. Humanity had evolved beyond mere survival. They had achieved something the collective couldn't comprehend. They had learned to manipulate the fundamental forces of reality itself, all while maintaining their humanity, their creativity, their capacity for both justice and mercy. The game had changed. The hunters were about to become the hunted. All stations, Sarah announced, prepare for Phase 2. The collective will return with everything they have, and we'll be ready to show them everything we've become. The Avalon disappeared into quantum space, leaving behind no trace of its existence. The first battle had been won, but the war for the galaxy's soul was just beginning. Humanity's moment of emergence had arrived, and nothing in the cosmos would ever be the same. Defiance Protocol. 3 days after the initial engagement, the quantum sensors of Earth's hidden defense network lit up like a Christmas tree. The Nexus Collective had returned, and they'd brought their entire third fleet, over 10,000 warships darkening the space between Jupiter and Mars. In her quarters aboard the Avalon, Sarah Chen studied the tactical display with Admiral Victor Thompson and the holographic projections of Earth's Defense Council. The collected ships formed a massive sphere, their overlapping shield geometries creating an impenetrable defensive formation. They've adapted their strategy, Thompson noted, his weathered face grim. No more individual harvesters. They're moving as one unified force. As expected, Sarah replied. The question is, do we proceed with Defiance Protocol? The council members exchanged looks. Defiance Protocol wasn't just a military strategy. It was the revelation of humanity's greatest technological achievements, capabilities that would forever change the balance of power in the galaxy. The Avalon's success proved the concept. Dr. Elena Santos, head of quantum research, interjected. Our phase technology works against their defenses, but revealing our entire hand. We don't have a choice, Sarah cut in. The collective doesn't retreat. They don't negotiate. Either we show them our full strength now, or we risk losing everything. The council voted unanimously. Defiance Protocol was a go. Battle stations, Sarah commanded as she strode onto the bridge. Begin quantum synchronization with the defense grid. Throughout the solar system, hidden installations activated. Quantum cores beneath the surfaces of Mars, Europa, and Titan hummed to life. In the asteroid belt, thousands of automated platforms emerged from their concealment. Humanity had spent decades preparing for this moment. The collective fleet approached Mars, their energy weapons powering up. Their first volley could have cracked a planet if it had hit its target. Phase shift complete, Maya reported from her station. Mars and all installations have shifted to quantum state beta. The massive energy barrage passed harmlessly through the red planet and its defenders, the beams hitting nothing but empty space. To the collective sensors, Mars itself had seemingly vanished. They're scanning all frequencies, Kumar announced, detecting massive power spikes. They're charging their main planet killer array. Sarah allowed herself a thin smile. Perfect. They're committing their forces. Execute Operation Sunburst. Deep beneath the Martian surface, the quantum core network activated. Reality itself began to twist as dozens of artificial quantum singularities formed in precise locations throughout the collective fleet. Ships that had survived millennia of warfare found themselves torn apart by localized physics distortions. Multiple contacts breaking formation, Maya called out. They're trying to regroup at coordinates 227 Mark IV. Not today, Sarah responded. Deploy the Ghost Fleet. From their quantum-shifted state, hundreds of automated human vessels emerged. Each one was equipped with phase technology, allowing them to shift between realities faster than the collective's targeting systems could track. The alien fleet's perfect sphere began to crack. Incoming transmission, Kumar announced. It's different from their usual communications. On screen, Sarah ordered. The holographic display showed a being Sarah had only seen in intelligence briefings, a Nexus Prime, one of the collective's ruling class. Its crystalline form pulsed with angry red light. Impossible species, it began, its translated voice trembling with rage. You hide your true nature. You develop abominations that twist the laws of space. You dare to challenge the natural order. Sarah stood, her voice clear and firm. We hide because you gave us no choice. We watched as you stripped world after world. We learned. We prepared. And now we're showing you exactly what humanity does when backed into a corner. You cannot maintain these quantum states indefinitely, the Prime declared. Your energy requirements are perfectly sustainable, Sarah interrupted. Another assumption you made about us. Humanity mastered fusion power a century ago. We just let you think we were still burning fossil fuels. The Prime's crystalline form flickered. The collective will not falter. Look around you, Sarah cut in again. It already is. The automated defense platforms had herded the remaining collective ships into a kill zone. Quantum mines detonated in precise sequences, creating a cascade of reality distortions that ripped through their formation. Final numbers coming in, Maya reported. 87% of their fleet has been neutralized. The rest are in full retreat. Sarah turned back to the Prime's image. Here are your options. Return to your space. Leave Earth and every other developing world alone. Or we'll show you exactly how many other surprises we've developed over the centuries you thought we were primitive. The transmission cut off as the remaining collective ships flood into FTL. The bridge crew maintained their professional composure, but the atmosphere was electric with victory. Send word to all stations, Sarah ordered. Phase 2 complete. Begin deployment of the quantum defense network throughout the inner systems. And get me a secure channel to the Arcturus resistance. It's time we help those worlds rebuild. As the adrenaline of battle faded, Sarah thought about what they'd revealed today. The collective now knew humanity's strength, but they didn't yet understand their true weakness, their complete inability to comprehend human nature itself. They'll be back, James said through the comm. Their entire society is built on technological supremacy. They can't accept that we'd surpassed them. Let them come, Sarah replied. Humanity didn't develop these technologies just to defend ourselves. We're going to reshape the galaxy into something better. The collective's days of harvesting civilizations are over. The Avalon's quantum core pulsed steadily as they set course for Earth. In cities across the planet, crowds celebrated their victory, finally able to acknowledge the true extent of human achievement. But Sarah knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy was changing. Humanity had revealed itself not just as a force of resistance, but as a beacon of hope for every species that had suffered under the Collective's reign. The real war, the war for the future of all sentient life, was about to begin. All stations, Sarah announced, prepare for Phase 3. We're taking the fight to them. Counter-strike. The quantum maps spread across the Avalon's tactical room showed hundreds of harvested worlds, each one a testament to the Collective's brutality. Sarah Chen studied them with leaders of the newly formed alliance, representatives from civilizations that had survived the Collective's attention by appearing too primitive to bother with. Their empire spans nearly a quarter of the galaxy, Maya explained, highlighting clusters of systems in red. But we've discovered something interesting about their quantum network. The holographic display zoomed in on a particular configuration of worlds. Among the resistance fighters and hidden species delegates, a chittering sound of recognition arose. Their entire communication and transportation infrastructure relies on quantum entanglement nodes, Sarah continued. And every single one of those nodes was built using resources harvested from our worlds. Kizik, a being of living shadow who led the Arcturus resistance, moved forward. You've found their weakness. More than that, Sarah smiled. We've found our advantage. James. Her brother's hologram appeared, holding up a small crystalline device. Each harvested world's quantum signature remains unique. The Collective never bothered to mask them. Why would they? No primitive species could possibly understand quantum mechanics at their level. But we do, Sarah stated, and we can use these signatures to disrupt their entire network. Every ship, every communication, every faster-than-light transit, all of it depends on these nodes working perfectly. The assembled leaders began to understand. Centuries of oppression had taught them to hide, to survive. But humanity was offering something more, a chance to fight back. Operation Sunburst begins in 6 hours, Sarah announced. The Avalon will lead a strike force into collective space, while their fleets are scattered, trying to defend against our quantum technology. We'll hit their infrastructure at its heart. The mission that followed would be remembered in 1,000 worlds' histories as the day the galaxy changed forever. The Avalon, accompanied by ships from 7 different species, each bringing their own hidden strengths to the fight, slipped through the Collective's defense lines using combined phase shift technology. Multiple patrol ships ahead, Kumar reported from his tactical station, running silent. The strike force ghosted past the Collective's sentries, their quantum signatures masked by humanity's phase technology combined with the natural abilities of their new allies. The shadowkin of Arcturus bent light around their ships. The crystalline Alxani refracted sensor beams harmlessly away. First target in range, Maya announced. Quantum node controlling their Carina sector network. Sarah stood at the command station, feeling the weight of history. Begin transmission of the harvested world signatures. All ships, execute attack pattern Echo. The strike force decloaked simultaneously. Before the Collective's defenders could react, each ship broadcast a unique quantum frequency, the dying echoes of worlds the Collective had stripped bare. The node, designed to maintain perfect quantum coherence, began to destabilize as it received the signatures of its own components. Node is critical, Kumar reported with satisfaction. Quantum cascade failure in 3, 2, 1. The massive installation disappeared in a flash of light that rippled through subspace. Throughout the Carina sector, Collective ships suddenly found themselves cut off from their quantum network. Their seemingly invincible technology, dependent on perfect quantum entanglement, began to fail. Move to secondary targets, Sarah ordered. The Collective will have figured out what we're doing by now. This is where it gets interesting. The next 6 hours were a symphony of precision strikes and desperate battles. The strike force hit node after node, while the main Alliance fleet engaged Collective forces trying to protect their infrastructure. The Avalon's phase technology kept them one step ahead, but each target became more heavily defended. Final node approaching, Maya called out. But we got company, massive collective fleet incoming. At least 300 capital ships. Sarah's eyes narrowed. They're learning. Those ships are using old-style FTL drives instead of quantum networks. James, status of our core. Running hot, Stis, he replied. One more big push is all we've got. Sarah opened a channel to the strike force. All ships, this is Chen. We've got one shot at this. Pour everything you have into your unique signatures. Let's show them the voices of every world they thought they'd silenced. The combined attack hit the final node like a tsunami of quantum discord. Every harvested world signature, every violated natural law, every stripped resource, all of it cascaded through the collective's network in a wave of chaos. Quantum cascade reaching critical mass, Maya reported, her voice tight with excitement. It's spreading through their entire remaining network. On screens throughout the sector, the collective's mighty empire began to fragment. Ships lost contact with their bases. Automated defense systems went dark. Transportation networks failed, stranding their forces across vast distances. Message from Alliance Command, Kumar announced. The collective's influence is collapsing in 16 sectors and counting. Suppressed worlds are rising up. Their remaining fleets are in chaos. Sarah allowed herself a moment to absorb the victory before focusing on the next challenge. Get me a secure channel to Earth. Tell them to begin Phase 4. The collective's going to be desperate now. We need to be ready for their last stand. As the strike force regrouped for the journey home, Sarah watched the quantum map transform. Sectors once marked in the collective's red now pulsed with different colors, representing freed worlds and rising civilizations. They never understood, she mused aloud. The collective built their empire on the assumption that advanced technology meant absolute power. They never considered that their victims might be hiding their true strength, waiting for the right moment. Just like us, James added through the comm. Sarah nodded. Just like all of us. The galaxy's greatest power isn't quantum mechanics or phase technology. It's the will to resist, to survive, to fight back. And now that we've shown it's possible. She left the thought unfinished as the Avalon prepared for its jump home. The collective's reign was crumbling, but Sarah knew their most dangerous moment was yet to come. A wounded empire was a desperate one, and the collective still had one card left to play. All stations, she commanded, prepare for immediate return to Earth. The collective's leadership will have only one option left now. They're going to throw everything they have at humanity's homeworld. The final battle for the galaxy's future was about to begin. Breaking the chain. The collective's final assault on Earth began not with a bang, but with a tear in reality itself. Their remaining forces, led by the legendary Worldbreaker fleet, emerged from corrupted quantum space in a desperate gambit that violated their own laws of physics. By the stars, Maya whispered as the sensors registered the impossible readings. They've merged their remaining ships into a single quantum matrix. They're trying to match our phase technology. Sarah watched from the Avalon's bridge as the massive combined fleet approached. Thousands of ships linked together into one enormous quantum organism, their desperate gambit to match humanity's technological edge, threatening to rip apart the fabric of space-time itself. They've gone mad, James commented through the comm. The energy requirements alone should be tearing them apart. They are being torn apart, Dr. Santos confirmed from Earth Command. But they don't care. They'll survive long enough to reach Earth. This is their suicide run. The combined collective entity filled the tactical display, its quantum signature pulsing with unstable energy. Their message, broadcast on all frequencies, was simple. If we cannot rule, none shall exist. Sarah's voice remained steady as she opened a channel to the Allied fleet. This is exactly what we prepared for. Execute Formation Phoenix. Show them what real unity looks like. The assembled ships of Earth and their alien allies moved into position. Unlike the collective's forced merger, each vessel maintained its unique quantum signature while synchronizing with a greater pattern. The Alexani crystal ships refracted sensor data between allies. The Shadowkin vessels wove darkness between the fleet's components, and at the center, humanity's quantum technology tied it all together. They're charging their main weapon, Kumar reported. Energy readings are off the charts. Let them come, Sarah replied. Maya, initiate the quantum resonance field. Show them what happens when you try to match humanity's desperation with mere technology. The Avalon's quantum core pulsed, sending waves of perfectly tuned energy through the Allied fleet. Each ship began to glow with a unique frequency, their combined emissions forming a pattern that the universe itself seemed to recognize. The collective entity fired its weapon, a beam of pure quantum dissolution that should have unmade anything it touched. But as it reached the Allied formation, something extraordinary happened. Quantum harmonics holding steady, Maya announced, her voice filled with wonder. The resonance field it's not just deflecting their attack, it's absorbing it. Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. Of course it is, because we didn't build our technology to dominate reality. We built it to work with it. Through the quantum network, she could feel the contributions of every allied species. The Alexani's natural crystal matrices amplifying the field. The Shadowkin's ability to bend light and energy being applied on a quantum scale, and humanity's phase technology, allowing them to exist in perfect harmony with the fundamental forces they'd spent centuries studying. Energy absorption at maximum capacity, James reported. Ready for conversion on your mark, sis. Sarah took a deep breath. This was the moment that would decide the fate of not just Earth, but countless civilizations. Send the final message. Throughout the collective entity, screens flickered to life showing Sarah's face. You built your empire by tearing worlds apart. We built our strength by bringing them together. Here's the difference. Now, James. The Avalon's quantum core flared as it converted the absorbed energy of the collective's attack. But instead of weaponizing it, the ship channeled it through the Allied fleet in a carefully orchestrated pattern. Each vessel added its own signature to the energy, transforming it from a force of destruction into something entirely new. The space between the two fleets began to shimmer as reality itself responded to the combined frequencies. The collective entity found itself caught in a quantum resonance wave that matched the natural frequency of the universe, a harmony they had spent millennia trying to dominate rather than understand. Their quantum matrix is destabilizing, Maya reported. The forced merger is breaking apart. One by one, the collective ships began to separate from their artificial unity. Their desperate attempt to match humanity's technology had left them vulnerable to its most fundamental principle, working with the natural order rather than against it. Alliance vessels, move to containment positions, Sarah ordered. Prepare to receive survivors. As the massive entity dissolved, something unexpected happened. Ships that had been forced into the collective consciousness began broadcasting surrender signals. Crew members, freed from the quantum merger, were rejecting their leadership's suicidal mission. Multiple escape pods launching from their command ships, Kumar announced. The Nexus Primes. They're trying to flee. Sarah's voice carried the weight of justice as she gave her next order. Not this time. Maya, activate the quantum tracking beacons. Every harvested world left a signature in their quantum matrix. Let's make sure they face judgment from all the civilizations they've wronged. The battle's conclusion wasn't marked by a massive explosion or a decisive strike, but by the sight of collective ships powering down their weapons as their crews chose survival over annihilation. The Nexus Primes, architects of countless atrocities, found themselves trapped by the very quantum signatures they had stolen from their victims. Status report. Sarah commanded as the last pockets of resistance surrendered. Allied fleet reports minimal losses. Maya responded. The quantum resonance field held perfectly. Earth is safe. And she paused, checking her readings. We're receiving signals from across the galaxy. The collective's remaining strongholds are falling as their forces stand down. Sarah closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of victory. When she opened them, her gaze was fixed on the stars beyond the viewport. Send word to Alliance Command. Phase 4 is complete. Begin preparations for the reconstruction effort. As the Allied fleet secured their prisoners and began rescue operations for surrendered crews, Sarah reflected on the true nature of their victory. The collective had fallen not just to superior technology, but to a fundamental misunderstanding of power itself. They never figured it out, did they? James mused through the comm. No, Sarah replied. They thought true strength came from domination. They never understood that real power comes from working together, with each other, and with the universe itself. The Avalon's quantum core hummed peacefully as they set course for Earth. The galaxy was entering a new era, one where cooperation would replace conquest, and where every species' unique strengths would contribute to a greater whole. The war was over. The real work was about to begin. Dawn of a new era. 1 year after the collective's fall, the great hall of the newly established Galactic Concordat hummed with activity. Representatives from thousands of worlds, former victims, hidden species, and even reformed collective members, gathered to witness the formation of a new order. Sarah Chen stood at the podium, no longer wearing her captain's uniform, but the simple diplomatic attire that had become standard for Earth's representatives. The Avalon, now a symbol of liberation rather than just a warship, orbited above, its quantum core helping to maintain the vast network of peaceful communications that had replaced the collective's forced unity. We gather here not to celebrate victory, Sarah began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber, but to ensure it never becomes necessary again. The collective's greatest crime wasn't their technology or even their harvesting of worlds. It was their belief that advancement must come at the cost of others. The assembled delegates, some humanoid, some energy beings, some defying conventional description, listened intently. Among them sat former Nexus Primes, their crystalline forms dimmed by humility, learning what their civilization had forgotten eons ago. Humanity hid our true nature not out of fear, she continued, but because we saw a pattern we needed to break. The collective's assumption that technological superiority granted them the right to rule led to millennia of suffering. We chose a different path. The holographic displays activated, showing the new quantum network that connected allied worlds. Unlike the collective's forced links, this one pulsed with the unique signatures of each participating civilization, a harmony of diversity rather than enforced unity. The quantum concordat we establish today isn't based on humanity's technology or any single species' strength, Sarah explained. It's founded on a principle the collective never grasped. True power comes from working together, each civilization contributing its unique gifts to the whole. James, now Earth's chief technical advisor, activated the main display. It showed the transformation of formerly harvested worlds, now being restored through the combined efforts of multiple species. The Ilxani's crystal technology accelerated planetary healing. Shadowkin abilities helped stabilize damaged atmospheres. Human quantum science facilitated the precise manipulation of natural forces needed for reconstruction. We've also learned from our own history, Sarah acknowledged. Earth's nations once fought among themselves, hoarding resources and knowledge. We evolved beyond that understanding. Now we offer the galaxy the same choice. The chamber's quantum field hummed as she initiated the final protocol. Every world's quantum signature, including those the collective had harvested, began to harmonize in a display of cosmic synchronicity. The age of hiding is over, Sarah declared. No more will developing civilizations need to conceal their true nature. No more will advanced species feel the need to dominate others. The quantum concordat ensures that each world can develop at its own pace, contributing to the galactic community in its own way. Kizik, the Shadowkin leader, moved forward. And what of those who might follow the collective's path? Sarah's response was firm but hopeful. The combined quantum signatures of our worlds now form a natural defense network. Any attempt to harvest or dominate others will face not just military resistance, but the fundamental forces of reality itself. We've learned to work with the universe, not against it. The former Nexus Prime who had once threatened Earth now rose, its crystalline form reflecting the chamber's light. "We were wrong," it admitted, its translated voice carrying genuine remorse. "We thought unity meant conformity. You've shown us it means harmony." The signing ceremony that followed wasn't just a political formality. Each world's representative added their quantum signature to the Concordat, creating a living document that would evolve with the galaxy itself. The technology humanity had developed in secret became a foundation not for dominance, but for cooperation. As the ceremony concluded, Sarah found herself back on the Avalon's observation deck, watching the delegates' ships depart, each one now carrying a piece of the quantum network that would bind the galaxy together in peace. "Hard to believe it's really over," James said, joining her at the viewport. Sarah shook her head, smiling. "It's not over, little brother. It's just beginning. We've got thousands of worlds to help rebuild, new civilizations to welcome, and a whole galaxy of possibilities to explore." The Avalon's quantum core pulsed steadily, its energy now part of a greater whole. Humanity had emerged from hiding not as conquerors or saviors, but as partners in a grand cosmic dance. They had shown the galaxy that true strength lies not in domination, but in the courage to reach out, to trust, to work together. Setting course for the Arcturus sector, Maya announced from her station. "The restoration fleet is waiting for us." Sarah nodded, watching Earth recede behind them. The war had proved humanity's strength, but peace would prove their wisdom. The galaxy was entering a new age, not of hiding or harvesting, but of harmony. And they would face it together.